once again for my weekend review. A lot of y'all know that's been following the channel that I quit my federal job at the post office about 4 weeks ago and decided to go full time working for myself. And every week I get on here and I give a review as to how that's going and what I'm doing to build my business. This series is kind of for entrepreneurs or people that are self-employed looking to build a business and want to follow what it is I'm doing. So in week one, I had talked about a few things. I was going to attend a networking meeting, and I talked about the idea. Week two, I attended the first one. Week three, I attended the second one, and then they want you to join. Well, week four, last week, I wasn't able to go. My wife had a big interview for a big company out of town and had to fly there. And I had to take her to the airport. And while that may not seem at the same time as the interview, at the same time as the networking meeting, and that may not seem like a big deal, but it is a big deal because I own my time. Had I been working at the post office or perhaps for somebody else and I'd have said, hey, I needed this day off, it would have caused a disruption in the workflow. And at the post office, they probably wouldn't have given me the day off. And somewhere else, they may have, they may not have, who knows. But when you control your time, when you own your time, you don't have to ask permission. So that was a big perk. Also, I didn't mention it in week three, but I was able to take off on Friday, pick up my kids, and spend the day with my kids. And I did that same thing this week as well. And had I been working elsewhere, if I said, hey, boss man, it's the summertime and I got my kids for half the week, I need to cut my work schedule down to only 3 days a week, they'd have laughed at me. That wouldn't have been all right. So again, just owning my own time is paying off in spades. It's invaluable. So we have that. I'm in week four. Despite everything else, I maintain control of my time. I was able to be there for my kids and be a dad. I was able to be there for my wife and be a husband, which is not something you always get to do when you're working for somebody else. So that's the first thing. I do plan on joining that networking group, but it'll be tomorrow, and then from there on, I'll be attending consistently. I definitely believe in the power of networking groups. I have started businesses in the past and tried to do it on my own, and I have had mixed results. And I have did businesses in the past where I have been a member of a networking group. I've been actively involved. I was training and development coordinator. I was chapter president, all that. And my business grew by leaps and bounds. So if you're in business, I definitely suggest you get hooked up with a networking group. Some are better than others, but none of us can grow our business alone. We all need the benefit of other business people to learn from, other business people to be mentored by, and other business people to pass us referrals. The value of that cannot be overstated. So moving on, I got some new work. I've been doing videos on all of my jobs. Well, the secure facility that I've been working at, I can't really do a whole bunch of videos there. Like I say they kind of frown on photos, photography, video, that kind of thing, because it's a secure facility. And I've been doing a lot of work there. But I have a lot of videos prior to starting that job that I've shot. My wife edits them for me, and then I post them on social media, and I post them in Facebook groups. Folks, if you own a business, and you are not leveraging the power of Facebook groups, you absolutely need to do that. There are two things that I focus on. Outside of my junk removal business, I'm also an SEO specialist. I build websites, I do SEO, that kind of thing. I wrote a book on it. I'm an author. But so I understand the importance of it. And almost every day, at least Monday through Friday, I try to post on my Facebook page, and I try and use titles that are SEO friendly, like junk removal Fort Myers, or a residential junk removal, a furniture removal, a construction cleanup, stuff like that, because your Facebook post on your pages are searchable by Google. So every time you make a post and you use a SEO, a friendly title, and an SEO friendly words in your description, that's all picked up by Google. If you Google Florida junk removal and hauling, you will see I got Facebook post after Facebook post after Facebook post that shows up in Google. So that's one reason. The second reason is I then share those posts in all sorts of local groups. You will not believe the amount of calls I get just from doing that. I had talked about in week 3's video that somebody in New Jersey had found me and wanted me to do a boat removal. That was the highest paying job I've got so far, and I got that off of being SEO optimized on Google. This week I got a couple more calls as a result of Facebook groups in Google. One was a big dump truck. I had posted a video of a previous dump truck that was stuck. It had locked up brakes. It was in a rut. Nobody could move it. This guy called me to move it. I was successful. I got it moved. I videoed the whole thing, and I put that up in Facebook groups and on Google, the video. And somebody called me this week with the exact same thing. They had a dump truck that had got flooded in Hurricane Ian a couple years ago, and weeds had grew up all around it. The motor was locked up. The brakes were seized up. It was starting to get a vegetation growth all around it, little trees, vines, weeds, stuff like that. And when we hooked the loader to it to pull it out, it wouldn't move. It just wouldn't move. It had as much weight as the loader had, and it was sitting still, and the loader couldn't move it. So we had to get up under it and disconnect the brakes and do all that, and eventually we got it. I made a pretty good little clip on that, and again, that just comes from sharing the stuff in Facebook groups. Now, I also got a call. There was a lady in Miami who was looking up junk removal services in this Fort Myers, Lehigh, Cape Coral area. Even though she was 3 hours away, she was looking up services here as her sister lived here, and she was going to come down and help her with some stuff, and she found me. And I was able to go yesterday and do a residential junk removal for her. I removed several beds and dressers and household junk that was in her garage, and today I'll be taking that to the dump. So I don't just do big things, I do little things too, residential and commercial. And I want to be careful on Google and Facebook, not just to focus on trucking and heavy equipment and big cleanups, because when you do that, you'll miss out on the other opportunities. I made $350 yesterday for working about 30 minutes based on my residential services. So the work is coming in. The work I made last week more than I would have made at the post office, and in total in the last month I have made probably as much as I would have made at the post office in 3 months. So far so good. It still appears to be a good decision that I made there. And as far as my commercial accounts go, I'm growing them. I have two contractors. I have a signed company. Um, Let me think. Who else do I got? I have an auto part company. I had five. I'm trying to think here. One, two, three, four. Oh yeah, and the secure cure facility that I'm doing. So I've been at this 4 weeks. I've got five commercial accounts. That's better than one account a week. So I can't complain there. Uh, so far, so good. I'm making more money than I made at my job. I'm uh, I'm working about half the hours I was working at my job, and I own my own time. I control it. I got work coming in all the time. Um, I do want to tell you about this though. Um, every week I talk about my equipment upgrades. So I was at the secure facility last week, and it was Monday. It started out the week, and I went there and I got 6,000 pounds of steel on my trailer. And just as I was pulling off, I hit a piece of metal, and I busted my tire. So I'm sitting with this flat tire on my trailer, and I had to disconnect. I was about an hour from the house. I had a spare, but it was at the house. So I disconnected. I drove an hour back to the house, got the spare, drove an hour back to the facility. And by the time I got back, the jack on my trailer had broke. It had a plastic wheel on it. It was a steel jack that come down, but it had a plastic wheel like an old boat trailer trailer jack. And that plastic wheel wasn't able to stand up under all that weight, and it had busted. So I busted a tire, I busted my jack, and it took me about an hour and a half to get that tire changed. To luckily, I had a second jack in my truck. Now, I can't overstate the importance of carrying two jacks, because if you're in a situation where you need a jack and you extend its capabilities, or you maximize its capabilities, then what you gonna do? You can't get your jack out because the jack is already in use, and it's maximized. But I was able to go to the truck and get a second jack, and I was able to build up and jack it up, and build up, and then get my other jack out, and then put a piece of 4x4 on that, and then jack that back up, and I was able to work the two jacks in unison, and I was able to get that tire on, and then go around to the front where my trailer jack had broke, and I was able to do the same thing with the two jacks again, work them in unison, and able to get it up and do it. But had I not had a second jack, I'd have been in trouble. So I had a spare tire rack, but it just needed to be welded onto my trailer, and I had this fender going wah 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 wah, so it needed a few spot welds on it. So I took my trailer into the welder. I got that taken care of. I got the spare tire rack put on the trailer, a few spot welds on it, and now I'm prepared. So now wherever I go, I can carry a spare tire. And that makes me better off than I was last week. And I've got all the parts in to add a gooseneck hitch to my trailer, to my truck. And this week I'm hoping to be able to go get that gooseneck trailer I acquired that I talk about in week 1. So I'm steadily growing as far as business accounts. I'm steadily growing as far as equipment and capabilities. I met another guy who's got bigger equipment than I got, and I'm able to call him in on bigger jobs. So things working out. But I want to tell you about this other thing. So as I bought a new bed for my truck, I went to this guy who sells truck parts. He basically gets in F-250s and 350s and he breaks them all down and he sells them for parts. Well, as you can imagine, he generates quite a bit of scrap metal. So there, a while back, maybe 10 years ago, I was walking around with a guy in business who I did business with. And I was with him on this particular day, and he had to go into a contractor supply store in order to make a big purchase of something that he needed. He was spending several $1,000s in there that day. And I overheard him say something that completely changed the way I do business. As he was talking to the guy, and he was talking about the items he was fixing to purchase and the money he was fixing to spend, which again was thousands of dollars. He said this. He said, "Hey, man," he said, "I like to do business with people that do business with me. What are you currently doing with your scrap metal?" And the guy he was talking to had a dumpster out front of this guy's competitor, right? He said, "Well, currently I sell under so-and-so." He said, "Well, I like to do business with people that do business with me. Are they doing business with you? Are they buying from you?" And he said, "Well, no, they don't really do a lot of business with me outside of the scrap metal." And he said, "Okay, well, let's change that right here. I'm going to spend this money with you today, and I'm going to bring you another dumpster tomorrow. You can call them to pick this one up, and we'll put a mine there, and I'll start buying your scrap metal." And right there, just like that, not only did he take care of his purchase, but he gained a new account and he took it from his competitor. And I remember being impressed by that. And I have been using that over the years since. So when I went in to talk to this guy about my bed and talk about spending $1,000 with him on a new bed and tailgate and all that, I said, "Hey, man, I like to do business with people that do business with me. What are you doing with your scrap metal?" And a portion of his scrap metal he took in himself, the real big stuff. But he had a whole bunch of other scrap metal outside of that he said, "Hey, man, I really ain't doing nothing with it. You want it? You can have it." So right there, just like that, I picked up another account. And moving forward, I foresee the scrap metal I get from this guy being over and above the amount I just paid him for the bed. So once again, I'm coming out on top. So that's just a little lesson for you. If you're in business and you're spending money with other people, with other vendors, learn to ask that question. Learn to make that statement. I like to do business with people who do business with me. What are you doing with whatever your service is? And in my case, it's scrap metal, but maybe you're a tech guy. Who's doing your IT, or whatever the circumstances are, whatever your situation is, whatever the service is you provide. That's your opportunity to plug your service and try and get their business while you're standing there with them and they're trying to get your business. That's your tip for today. So far, I'm making more money. I've got more time. I'm happier. I enjoy my life a lot more. And I order some shirts. In one of the shorts on my video, on one of the short videos on my YouTube channel and TikTok channel, you might see recently I got a blue shirt on. It says "Got Junk" right here. And then on the back, it says "Florida Junk Removal and Hauling." I believe if you're going to represent yourself, you should do so professionally. Have you some shirts made. And what I like to do is not only do I wear the shirts myself, but I always get a few extra. And as I complete a job for somebody, I'll give them a shirt and have them wear my shirt and advertise for me. So last week I went online. I designed a shirt. I ordered a sample. It came in the mail. I liked it. I seen where I needed a little bigger font, so I went in and I adjusted that. But now I've ordered a whole bunch. So you will be seeing me wearing my own shirts here soon, and I will be passing them out as well. I also ordered and created a few other promotional items. I got some hats. I got some calendars on the way. The calendars are really cool. You know how when people make a calendar, they might put a girl on every month, or they might put a muscle car on every month, or they might put a cat or a dog or a horse or something like that, whatever the theme is of the calendar. Well, since mine is Florida Junk Removal and Hauling, I went in and put a picture of a load of scrap on every month, right? It's just kind of cool. It's funny. So I think it's something that people will like, they'll laugh about, and they will hang it in their office. And when they come in, or anybody else comes in their office, they're going to see Florida Junk Removal and Hauling right there. So that's how I'm growing my business this week. That's the steps I've taken. And if you're in business, I appreciate if you leave a comment below and tell me what your business is, what you do, where it's at, and let's talk about growing our business together. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I appreciate if you do. Not just this one, Markcast, but also Florida Junk Removal and Hauling. It's on YouTube, and you can check out the website, FloridaJunkRemoval239.com. Thank you.